Happy Friday everyone. I'm joining you from a very blustery and slightly damp Key Stage 2 playground. You might think, well Miss Atkinson, why are you doing that when you could be sat in your nice warm office? Well, I wanted to share with you these beautiful flowers that have been planted on the Key Stage 2 playground. And the link to my theme is that I am thankful. I'm thankful for the parent who donated these beautiful plants to our school, but also to the children and adults who helped to plant them and who have been looking after them since they've been planted. It's such an important job to plant flowers and herbs in our environment and to tend to them and look after them almost like a little pet. I'm also really thankful to Matilda in Year 6, who for my birthday, right at the beginning of lockdown, gave me a tiny little plant pot with a seed in it, and it was a cucumber plant. That cucumber plant is now over 1 metre tall and has 4 or 5 cucumbers growing on it, and they're really big. So thank you, Matilda, for that amazing plant. Now I keep saying thank you. The theme today is thankfulness, and Pastor Nick from Bourne Baptist Church is going to talk to us in a moment about thankfulness and thankfulness in the Bible. But we could think about that, couldn't we, right now? Sometimes when we're thankful, we buy a gift for somebody or we write them a thank you card. But actually, the words of thank you can mean so much to somebody. I wonder if you can think now of what you could say thank you for. I know that lots of you have been doing different things during lockdown that maybe you wouldn't normally do. Maybe you need to say thank you to somebody for providing you with those opportunities. We've seen some great baking activities, sporting activities, craft activities, lots of you increasing the amount of exercise you're having. So thank you to the people that are helping you to do that. I've also got to say a massive thank you to you for all of your hard work. I know that working from home can be really tough, and we've only got 2 weeks left at school. Keep going with the activities that the teachers are setting you. I know you're doing well with them at home, so well done and thank you. Now I'm going to leave you with Pastor Nick for the rest of your assembly today. A huge thank you to him for joining us for our assemblies, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely weekend everyone and take care. Thank you and goodbye.
Well, morning. Great to see you again. My name's Nick Humphries, pastor of Bourne Baptist Church, and I'm here to do your assembly again. However, as with the last time I came, you're coming to me rather than me coming to you. So I want to welcome you to Bourne Baptist Church. I'm going to ask you a question. What is the best present you've ever had? What's the best present you've ever had? Perhaps, because I can't hear you, perhaps you've had a trampoline, maybe a bike. Maybe you've had a games console or a mobile phone or even a computer. When I was younger, one of my best presents I ever got was a small snooker table. It fitted really nice in our house and I was able to play snooker with my brothers. So that was one of my best presents. But I just had my birthday actually, and I got another gift that I want to show you. This is a present that I received from a friend of mine. And it's in a box, as you can see, but it's actually a pen. I'm going to show you. There we go. And I really like this pen, partly because it's been made for me specifically. My friend made this himself. But it's also very useful because I can use it for writing, because that's what pens are used for, isn't it? Writing. But I really appreciate this gift, and I find this amazing. You might think, oh, it's just a pen. But it's because it was made by somebody and made for me. I find that of great value, and I'm really thankful for that. And actually, that's what I want to talk to you this morning about. We're going to be talking about being thankful. Now, I don't know if you have written thank you notes recently. Maybe you have. And maybe you've done it off your own back, or maybe you've been encouraged to do it. I know when my children were younger, we would sometimes have to really say, look, come on, please write a note to say thank you. But how many ways are there to say thank you? Well, I've got some examples here that I'm going to show you. You may just say thank you, just by saying thank you. So saying it with words is one way. Or maybe you might send a thank you note. As I said, maybe you've done that. So you send a note to say thank you. Maybe, if you're a bit more technology, you use an email and you send an email to say thank you. Or if you're a bit older, maybe an adult, then you may send some flowers to say thank you. I know that's my wife and me, we've sent flowers to people to say thank you because we appreciate what they've done for us. And maybe your parents have done the same. And then there's another one. A thumbs up. We often, thanks, we might do that to say thank you. I've done that when I've been driving before. And when someone's let me through a gap, and I've often said, thank you. Because obviously, if we're driving, they can't hear me, but they can see that. And they think, oh, thank you. And I say, thanks for letting me through. But there's another one, another symbol. It's a symbol and a sign. Now, maybe you use these in school. These both are ways of saying thank you. So I'm going to ask you how often you say thank you. And a bit later on, I'm going to challenge you to maybe see if you can say it more today than you did yesterday. Now, in the Bible, Jesus talks about being thankful. It's important to be thankful. And I'm going to tell you a story in a minute. But it involves some people who've got leprosy. Now, I don't know what you know about leprosy, but it's a disease that was around in the Bible times, and it's actually still around today. And actually, as far as I know, there isn't a cure for it. But it's a disease that means people are treated as outcasts. They're pushed out of families, they're pushed out of villages, they're told to go and live alone or with other people who've got leprosy because it's very contagious, which means you can catch it very easily. But it causes lack of feeling in your nerves. So maybe if I was to pick up a hammer and bang my hand or my finger with it, I'd know it because I'd feel that pain. You would know it. But if you had leprosy, you may bang your hand and not even know it. You could grab something really hot and not realise it's hot because there's no feeling in your hand. Or maybe, as we all do, you've walked around barefoot and you tread on something like a nail. I know if I've trodden on a nail because it hurts. But if you've got leprosy, you wouldn't know. And you could find that you've walked around with a nail in your foot for, I don't know, maybe an hour, maybe a couple of days. Or maybe you would cut yourself and not even know. So having leprosy is very dangerous. Now, the story I'm going to tell you comes from the Bible in a book called Luke. And it's chapter 17, verses 11 to 19. And maybe you can find that story in your school Bible. You can have a look and read it yourself. But I'm going to tell it to you now. Now, Jesus tells us about 10 men who had leprosy. Now, their friends didn't talk to them. Their family didn't talk to them. How do you think these people would have felt? Very sad, very lonely. Now, they saw Jesus because Jesus was walking to Jerusalem and came past a village that they lived outside. And they saw him, so they started to approach him, as you can see from the picture. But actually, there are 10 lepers. Not one, not two, but 10 of them. And they all walked and approached Jesus. And they were all saying, Jesus, Jesus, help us, please, help us. And Jesus spoke to them. which was amazing in itself because they weren't used to people speaking to them. And Jesus said, why don't you go and see the priest? Because if you've got leprosy and you wanted to show that you were clean, you had to go to the priest. So Jesus said, go and speak to the priest. And the 10 lepers said, okay. So they turned around and off they went. Now, as they went and walked away, do you know what happened? They got healed. Their skin became smooth, with no blemishes, no marks, no sign of the leprosy on them at all. And off they went to see the priest. But one of them realised that they'd been made better. And he thought, wow, I'm healed. So unlike the other 9 who went to the priest, he went back to Jesus. So he turned around and walked the other way. And as you see, he found Jesus. He knelt down and said, thank you. You've made me well. And Jesus says, I thought there were 10 of you. Where are the other 9? So, you see, only 1 out of the 10 came back to say thank you. Only 1 was really thankful. And Jesus said to him, because of your faith, you are healed. And he blessed him and sent him on his way. You see, Jesus was delighted with that man for coming back to say thank you. Now, we should be thankful for all that we have too. Now, how many different things are we glad that we have? Let's think for a minute. We can be thankful for our food. We can be grateful for family. We can be grateful for friends and clothes. We can be thankful for homes, maybe for doctors, because we're able to see a doctor if we need to, for our teachers who help us. We take these things for granted, but really, we should be thankful for them. Now, as I said at the beginning, I want to leave you with a challenge this morning, and the challenge is this, to think how many times you can say thank you. And then I want you to come back tomorrow and share with your class how many times you did get to say thank you. So you've got to remember to say thank you to anyone who does anything for you or gives you anything. Don't leave it to someone else to say thank you, like the 9 of the 10 in the story. You've got to be the one to say thank you. We're going to take a moment and reflect for a minute on the story and maybe on how we have maybe not been thankful or say thank you as much as we should. So the story talks about 10 lepers finding Jesus, speaking to him, him sending them off, but only one of them coming back and saying thank you for being healed. Maybe we need to think about what we do, and are we thankful for all those things that we have, and do we say thank you when we need to and when we should? So let's take a moment to reflect on those questions now. Well, it's great to be able to say thank you. And I'm going to say a prayer now. And if you agree with what I'm going to say, then I'd like you to say Amen at the end, because Amen means I agree. So let's pray. Thank you, God, for all that we have. Thank you for our food, our family, our friends, and all that you give us. We are sorry that sometimes we forget to say thank you. Help us to always thank other people for the things they do for us, and to thank you for all that we have. Amen. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for allowing me to be part of your assembly this morning. I hope you have a great day. And remember, let's take opportunities to be thankful and to say thank you. Bye for now. See you again soon.